Yo guys, it's me Josh and welcome to another video. Now today's video is a bit different. I'm going to be counting down the 15 most horrific cars I've ever seen. Remember, these are just my opinion. With that said, let's get on with it. Number 15. Aston Martin Lagonda. Starting off the list is the Aston Martin Lagonda. Just taking a swift look at the front of this car, you'll discover why it has made this list. The front grille looks like a squeezed lemon. It's, awkward. This car could have looked great. Alas, it looks like a DeLorean, except this car should go back to the past. Aston Martin seemingly have improved since, thankfully. With the appearance of a slightly chiselled Minecraft block, a back end that looks like a poor man's bus, and a front looking like a shark with tooth decay, it's no surprise this car is almost universally hated, at least in terms of looks. Famously used by Walter White in Breaking Bad due to its synonymity with failure, to the point he tried crashing it to get rid of it. The Aztek's only true popularity came after featuring in the show. However, despite its glaring flaws, I can't help think that these are somewhat exaggerated by most people, which begs the question, does the Aztek really look that bad? Number 13. Nissan Duke. Unfortunately, I've had the sheer displeasure of seeing the Nissan Duke's almighty ugliness in person. I've had a pure hatred for the design of this car since it was first released. It looks so dreadful I tend to refer to it as the Nissan Puke. Its headlights are offensively large, the underside far too visible, and the sides bulbous. Flippin' heck, you think it has a built-in wide body kit? And don't get me started on the rear lights, which honestly look like chicken wings. The main reason this car isn't further down the list is due to the array of colourways available for it, meaning its ugliness can be somewhat hidden, unless you have a weird liking for what Nissan calls ink blue. Yikes. The 2020 new generation version of the Duke hugely improves on the former design, so credit where credit's due for that. Number 12. Nissan Cube. Next on the list we have, yes, another Nissan. The mobility scooter of cars when it comes to the exterior, the Nissan Cube certainly won't have you doing a Dan Bilzerian anytime soon. But sure, if you want to transport Granny and her fellow old fogies, this car is perfect for you. The Nissan Cube is the company's early attempt at a futuristic, spacey family car. Unfortunately, the only thing long-lasting about this car's design was its monstrosity. But hey, at least the windows look cool, the back ain't too bad either. There's definitely worse. Far worse. Number 11. Lamborghini Veneno. It's well known that sports car manufacturers have had their fair share of cock-ups, and Lamborghini are no exception. It resembles a Citroen combined with a fierce hypercar.
Bonjour, mio amico.
And that's the problem. At a cost of £2.8 million, why would you want to look like you're in a cheap car out of France? You wouldn't. So why buy the Lamborghini Veneno? We're talking about the 15 most horrific cars, not most pointless ones. So let me tell you why the Veneno is awful. There's no symmetry to it. It's a mess. Almost like Lamborghini took the plans for two cars mashing them together. The brainchild of a midlife crisis, the Lamborghini Veneno is one of the ugliest sports cars of all time. Number 10. Audi A2. This car looks like a pensioner car which pensioners would be embarrassed to drive. An absolutely obscene back end, akin to a cheese grater, and a front which leaves a lot to be desired. It's clear this car was never destined to win a beauty pageant. The German poor man's Range Rover Evoque is the perfect sentence to sum up this car's appearance. The Audi A2 is simply mediocrity at its worst. Audi is planning to release a new version of the A2 soon. No, just no. Number 9. Nissan Micro C plus C. 3 words. Poor man's Porsche. Having somewhat bug-eyed headlights similar to those on Nissan's Leaf, as well as an overall bland, uninspiring look, the Nissan Micro C plus C is more bummer than stunner. Some cars simply don't work as convertibles, including the Micro. During its initial release, Nissan created 5 C plus Cs in pink.
Buses. Absolutely buses.
Number 8. Fiat Multiplayer. The name alone is enough hint of the awful piece of work this car is. For many people this is number 1 on their list, with good reason really. The front's a shambles with double headlights which are simply horrifying, a wood of plastic and a grotesque hump to finish it off. The Fiat Multiplayer is truly appalling in terms of design. Looking past the glaring flaws, is the Multiplayer really that ugly? Well, yes, but it's certainly not the ugliest car out there. Number 7. Peugeot Convertible. Yes, all of them. The French really aren't renowned for design, and this car shows exactly why. Peugeot's convertibles are everything the Micro C plus C is, just worse. Except for the RCZ, which admittedly looks fairly decent. Like with Nissan, an obsession with enormous headlights ruins the form of Peugeot's convertibles. Number 6. Citroen Rodius. The Rodius looks rather odious. The back end is practically a Toyota Alphard, the front is laughable. In fact, the Citroen Rodius looks so awful, even a facelift couldn't fix it. That's right, the facelift is somehow worse than the original.
Clapped.
The Rodius is so ghastly it was discontinued only 3 years after the facelift. Number 5. Citroen Ami6. We're really starting to get to the business end of this list, with another double F in the Citroen Ami6. It's a 40-year-old with crippling depression as a car. The front is saggy, the middle is baggy, it looks like it's driven by Shaggy. I'm cutting the Ami6 a little slack due to the fact it was released almost 60 years ago, and times do change, but it's still hideous. Number 4. 1928 Bentley 4.5 litre. Perhaps a surprising entry on this list, a car very popular with most. With an exposed engine and a windscreen split into two, the designing of this car is, well, confusing. The 1928 4.5 litre has a swollen design, which really makes no sense whatsoever. This Bentley was featured in School for Scoundrels. They somehow managed to make it look even worse.
Disgusting!
Number 3. Ford Edsel. Think a person pouting plus a snooker table mashed together as a car. That's the Ford Edsel. It's purely horrific. How this travesty got past the concept stage is a mystery to me. I can only think Ford's design team was high as when they created this dire mess. Ford honestly deserve a reward if they managed to make something worse than this. With the area of a giraffe's neck, the symmetry of a hippo, and the radius of a whale. The Ford Edsel is undoubtedly one of the most horrific cars of all time. Number 2. Nissan Murano plus the Cross Cabriolet version. The Nissan Murano almost takes the cake when it comes to ugly cars. To make matters worse, Nissan actually thought a convertible version of this monstrosity was a good idea.
I promise I'm not drunk, I only had 1 barrel of Foster's last night.
A convertible SUV? Really, Nissan? Why oh why does this exist? In reality, both the Nissan Murano and Cross Cabriolet version should have never got past the virtual mock-up stage of design. I wouldn't be seen dead in a Murano. Innovation that excites? More like innovation that's shite. Number 1. Citroen Ami1 concept car. Unsurprisingly, a French car tops this list. Yes, it is a concept car, so technically doesn't really count, but the Ami1 is such an eyesore, I couldn't leave it off this list. The front looks like the back, and the back looks like the front. It's practically a Lego car with an interior like a train toilet. Being electric means you'll never need to be seen in public charging this gopping thing. An appalling, ghastly and horrifying monstrosity, the Citroen Ami1 concept is the most horrific car I've ever seen. The worst thing out of France since egg mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise aux œufs.
Right guys, so that was my list of the 15 most horrific cars I've ever seen. I hope you enjoyed. What's your list? Let me know in the comments. If you appreciated this video, be sure to leave a like and share. If you didn't, leave a dislike. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in my next video. Peace.